Hello.
Good evening. You're not Sia. What happened?
It's Brilliant Big Media though, but I'm Rocky, little Sia's sister, maybe.
Okay, so you're the producer. You're little Sia. Is that right?
Oh my gosh. First of all, let's say thank you so much, Sia, for giving me the grace and actually trusting me with your fantastic BBM, Brilliant B Media. Second of all, thank you, Mike Ashervanner, for giving me the opportunity to learn and keep learning and growing. How about that? You're an expert at that, right?
I could say I could be smart and go, yes, I had faith in you, but the truth is I couldn't run it by myself. So like, it I do believe in you, but it's not like I could do it at all. So hey, appreciate you.
Yes, but thank you so much. Yes, sir.
It's amazing I don't spill half of this on myself. And by the way, did you see this? This
I do see that,
invisible
sir.
cup?
What happened there?
Yeah, I am
You-
easily amused today. Yes,
Did you
ma'am.
forget like the number one rule of that having a green screen, sir?
Yeah, the weatherman handbook. I guess I just lost it. Um,
Oh
so
my
let me ask
goodness.
you a question. This is not, dude. Is it just me, or does it seem like everybody has negative, low energy? There's something goofy going on with almost everybody. Everybody's at a pivot point. Hey, this smile, this is kind of fake. I surround myself with awesome people. So by the time 6 o'clock rolled around, I was better. But I woke up rough, and you have you experienced that? Have you seen other people?
Yes, you know what? It's just something about spring, right? So we're in April. We're about to head into May, which is crazy because I just feel like not too long ago we were celebrating, hey, Happy New Year's, all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, like we're heading into like we're deep into the second quarter and things are not going maybe the way that things, people thought they were going to be going in. It's just one of those things that people are running in a high time, like stress wise, right? And
Yeah,
yes, yes, I do see it. I see what you're talking about, but luckily, having some individuals in the community to bounce on, and give you that uplifting that you need, it definitely helps. So I get what you're saying. But by the
yeah.
way, you didn't text back. Like you've been on the literally like the pedal, like the whole day. I text you since 9 in the morning. And you're like, yeah, nah, it's not happening.
Whew. Yeah, dude, it's been good things, man. And again, it's easy enough to shoulder our own burdens, but when you reach out and allow someone else to help you out, especially a client, we do business together. So it's not every day you can just say, hey, man, I had a horrible day, or I'm not feeling it, or I'm not sure what to do. And that other person talks you through it. I mean, that's not common when you're in a business setting. Uh, but hey, Stephanie Delfonso, huge shout out, Jody Lamb, Becky Wolf, Tanya and Michael Carr Cass. I'm not sure which guy we got here today. We're trying to figure out who the hell Michael Cass is. But hey, it's okay. Um, we Sia is allowed one thing. I'm allowed one thing a year. Okay, she never messes up. It was cute. Got attention.
You gotta give her grace. She does like a
Yeah,
7,000 things at the same time. So yes, it's all good. Cast car, hey, we're
sure.
good.
Yeah, and even Bobby Lee, man. Bobby Lee was doing Michael Gill's, like so we had me and Bobby doing Pilates again. People still think it's a joke. It's not a joke. I don't know if I can brand redneck Pilates. Maybe I need to figure out, I need to call Pilates Inc. or whatever. But yeah, me and Bobby's out there doing it. I'm like, dude, we got to put that out there, man. I mean, and his dog was acting worse than my dog doing Pilates. Oh, by the way, I did bring my infamous toilet paper. This is Michael Gale's toilet paper. This is
Oh
not,
my God.
yeah. So Michael Gale, thank you for sending me your customized 6-ply toilet paper, bro.
That's
Real
like,
sport.
I mean, TP on steroids or something like that. Oh my God. Look at
Hey,
you.
he works hard and plays harder. All right, go ahead and roll the intro. Let's get it going, and man, dive into this. I'm so excited. Go ahead
You
and hit it.
got it.
Are you looking to grow your business and your mindset alongside a fun and awesome pack? Grab a chair and your favorite beverage and join Mike Asherbrainer, the business mechanic, and his win-win network for the Hounds of Business Happy Hour.
All right. Good evening. Hopefully, if you do have low energy and you're not feeling it, you're just challenged. Must be the season. I don't know. But hey, you come to the right place. So excited to have all you here. And again, we're business people, but we're still people, right? And I think sometimes we forget that. Um, and this is what the Hounds is all about. This is what we are all about. People still say, "Hey, I don't know what you do." Yeah, well, that's my fault. I'm working on it. And these two folks that are coming up to talk to us in a little bit, they're helping me, all right, solve that problem. So what we do know, and I think everybody knows, and if you don't know, hang out, Douglas, hang out. You'll find out what we're about in a few minutes. Uh, but it's simple. It's about pushing people up. So many people beat down, told they can't, and even good intentioned. I've had grandparents and people in the family mean well, but they just didn't believe in what I was doing or what I was wanting to accomplish, and that's just because they never done it. So I think this is where people from all walks of life, man, we don't care about your gender, background, education. We don't care about those things. What we care about is you're a good person. You want to contribute. You want to get better. Um, and all boats rise mentality. That's what we care about. That's what we stand for. So that's why I can come up here, have a bad day, wanting to not come up here and be excited. I'm going to be real excited when I leave because of who we have. And we don't make a show. We don't make a live stream with a topic. And there's nothing wrong with that. And then find people that we can make that topic work with. I find people that people who are referred find me, Raquel, and all you great people, Nicole, all you guys, man, DJ, you all send me people, great people, and then I meet with those folks and bring them on the show, on the live stream, and then we make a show that people want to see, and that's exactly what we got today. So it's not just something I say. Really appreciate the new folks, the people who have been around. The pack is for everyone, and we do mean business, man. We got some serious business coming through the door, monetary gains, but we're friends, man. We're a close knit group of people. We show each other the dirty laundry and we push each other through it. That's why we make more money, because we're not hiding it, trying to put on a facade, right? So let me introduce the guests, because these people are, when you do this for a long enough, a couple years, or when you're on LinkedIn, you're social and you're networking in person and online, you develop it quick, right? You can sniff out the bull stuff, right, and the real. And I just think it says something when I saw these two. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and bring them up. I want to talk about them. Let's bring them up. Tanya and Michael, nice to meet you. How are you? Good to see you.
Hey, man.
Good to see you, Mike. Hey, you're off to a great start so far. We love what we're hearing about ourselves.
That's right. Just keep on. You're doing good.
Awesome.
I didn't guess.
You've got 52 minutes left to talking about us.
Oh, man. I'm at least 31. I mean, look, you guys. So we met, correct me if I'm wrong. We met when I saw you on CJ, Dr. Constance Leland, right?
I think actually it was Scott and Russ.
Okay.
Was that what it was?
Yeah, it was Dr. Scott. D. Scott and Russ, not Dr. Scott. D. Scott and Russ.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah.
It was called The Experience.
Yes.
Yeah. And I like Russ and Scott, man. They are good people.
They're amazing.
So I saw you guys, and you saw me too, right? Like, I don't know what I did. I know what I did, but I don't know what I did. But you guys, man, you all impressed me, because I saw y'all, and you had a little profile and everything was sharp, and then you start talking. I was like, wait a minute, they live down the street? Like, are they neighbors I know about? And so,
we're your redneck cousins.
What accent?
Yeah, like when I saw you all, I heard the professionalism, and I realized that you all did some business. You all have built, hard work. You built big businesses, and you're expanding those businesses, bringing value to people in business. What I didn't know is that you would have "She's the First Cousin" shirt somewhere in your house, man. Like, so, yeah, that was like, hey, I'm in love.
You want to know the sad part? Like, I literally just thought of it 2 days ago, and it wasn't quick enough to get them here, but we were going to order 2 hats like the one you have on and be dressed for success here to match you. Yeah. And we just couldn't make it happen fast enough.
Man. She's like, we need a hat just like Mike. And like, we need to show up and just the minute he pulls us on, we'll have his hat on like that.
Yeah. We need to dress all like
score the hat.
And we need to have t-shirts made just like Mike. Right?
Yeah.
They say just like Mike. And they're all camo and they have Redneck Financial Coach on them. I mean, we've got this figured out.
Yep.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear it because I don't have anything figured out. I just good things happen, and now I want to be intentional. I want to help more people, and that's what led us here. You know, I liked you guys, didn't know what you did, and you were one of the few branding, people, branding coaches or branding, however, that didn't say, "Hey, can I help you with your brand?" Like I'm starting from square zero, right? Like I got something going on. And you guys just kind of really came out authentic, had a great conversation. There was no pitch with a P, pitch slapping, none of that stuff. And yeah, it was like hand in glove. Like I was like, these folks can probably help me. And you were like, hey, this guy might help me. And so PB&J time. Did I get it wrong or am I right?
That's right.
You're totally right.
That's dead on. Yep.
Let me share the experience that I had with the rest of them here. Because if you ever seen Gremlins and Gremlins 2, that's kind of how I like to run my show, right? So first of all, how did you two lovebirds meet? All right. So because y'all are the cutest thing. I said, wow, I hope they're married because if not, they're very inappropriate. Because I've seen the goo-goo eyes still. So good for you for actually being married and still carrying on like you Cupids around. But how did you guys meet, man? Don't leave nothing out because this is my audience loves it. They're fancy. They'll love this.
Okay. All right.
That's a good story.
All right. I'll tell this story because I'll tell the truth.
Yeah.
Okay. So first of all, I get a call from my aunt one day who is a real estate agent. And she said, I have a new broker now. He's a great guy, but his marketing, it sucks. And so he wants you to call him to talk about his marketing. And I said, okay, all right, right. And then at the same time, she was calling Michael and saying, you should really talk to my niece. Your marketing's terrible. And so finally, after a few weeks of this, I thought, because I didn't really believe her, I thought, well, I'll just look and see what he's got going on social media and his website and everything. So finally we connected. I said, look, I don't know if I'm supposed to be calling you or you're supposed to be calling me, but here I am. To which he said, I told him what I did. And he said, well, I've had 5 more just like you. I don't need another one. That is the truth, guys. Say it ain't so.
It's true.
No way. Man, that's a great pickup line, bro. I'm writing that down.
It was
I was
5
wrong.
more just like you.
I was wrong. I had never, ever hired anybody like her that knew what she was doing. And and I've admitted this on many a platform.
He has. I have them
all
all
recorded. It is in the ethos forever. If you went to AI and put it in there, did Michael say this? It'll spit out, yes, absolutely he did. On a lot of platforms I haven't even showed up on. So I was wrong. She did know what she was talking about. The rest of the story was she was I was a client. So she, but we realized that we really got
about
along
4
good.
or 5 years later. Yeah,
we realized that we worked good together and everything. And I really did. I tell people this now. I just did what she told me to do. I did. When I realized that she had the goods, I still had a lot of stuff going on. I was still living in California. I had a house here in Atlanta. I had an office in Seattle, office in New York, an office in Chicago. We were selling REOs and shutting those down. And I knew I was coming back to Atlanta. And so I just let her do her thing. And I did everything she told me to do, even if I didn't agree with it. And now I just tell people the secret to my success is just doing what she tells me, which I think is the reason why I got her in the long run. But when we did so good, she asked me to write the second book in her series, the Brand Face book. She had already written the first one. She asked me to write the second one with her just towards real estate agents. And I agreed to do it. And then she asked me to be a partner in the company. And I did that. And it was a great investment, I have to admit. And but then our relationship continued to grow and we just got closer and closer. We were the best of friends, but we didn't date each other for a long time because we didn't want to mess up the business. And then I think we were.
And I was living in Ohio.
And she was in Ohio. I was in Atlanta. I mean, she was dating people. I was dating people. But we just knew that our friendship was just tighter than any other relationship that we had. So we just continued. Finally, we went to Vegas And like, and
Vegas. This is going in the wrong direction.
No, it's
babe.
not. No, it's not. We go to a wedding, like for a mutual friend. And then somebody says, hey, how long have y'all been together? And we're like, we're not together. And they're like, and so then we go to Vegas to a conference and we're like, well, maybe we should be together. And then we go to Charlotte to a conference and then we're like, okay, now we are together. But then we're like, don't tell anybody. So we went like 2 years not telling anybody. And then finally people started asking, are y'all like together? Are you a thing? And we're like, well, we don't date anybody else. And then
so we dragged that out for a while.
We dragged that out for a while. And then finally about 4 years ago, we just said, you know what? It's meant to be.
That's right.
Yeah.
So but all throughout it, I think it was Nicole said in the comments, it's not every couple can work together like this. Nicole, you are spot on. It's true. Not everybody can. But we have been in lockstep since the very beginning. And it's just like this God-given thing, I think, truly, that we just don't,
it helps when you just do what she says too. That helps a lot.
Yeah. You do that well too.
You can talk about it really well for sure.
Well, here's what I think is funny. In Randy House, help me out here, man. Yeah, I know you pay attention to this stuff. So it sounds like, I don't know, what, almost 8-10 years, some long time. He's still apologizing for that 5 more just like you comment. Yeah. He's
oh, yeah.
That egg is still on his face. You can tell. He's still
and
like,
that was purely professional, or unprofessional, if you want to look at it that way.
It was true. Well, I thought it was true.
We weren't even friends then. We didn't even know each other. It was the first phone call. He tells me that he knows 5 more like me. He does not need 1 more. And I said, you've never met anybody like me. And
there is a backstory to that I've never shared. I'm going to share this backstory with your audience. I've never shared this backstory. The honest truth of it is I hope that she would be everything that she was. She ended up being more than I could have ever even hoped for because she really did teach me. But I had gotten to the point where I was tired. You know, everybody's a painter until you give them a brush. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, oh, can you paint? Oh, yeah, I can paint. You know, and then you give them a brush and they're all like, and you're like, what is that? That's not painting. And so I just figured when she called me, I'm like, well, I'm just going to punch her right in the face and see how she handles it. And I said, I've had 5 others just like you.
Right between the eyes, through the phone, I swear.
With a vengeance and said, you know, you ain't never had anybody like me. I've got this thing figured out. And she was right. Did I say that again?
You did.
Is this being recorded?
And we have witnesses here. Thank you guys for your kind comments. Yeah. Nicole met her husband at work, right? Thank you.
Yep.
So I love that because you said, you ain't met nobody like me. And I actually got, remember those commercials where it's like, is okay, is not okay. And so
yes.
I don't know. And I said, they said, well, I got a guy. You know, you hear that. I got a guy. I said, really? I said, are you in the market for the most unbelievable, badass, great guy you can find? Or are you okay with just a guy? And I'm like, oh, I said that?
That's perfect.
Right? I love it.
Yeah. And they're like, excuse me? I'm like, well, I already said it now. Yeah, but it's to the point. You know, I got some kids. I got some friends. I got some brand face coaches. I got a wife. Who wants to be labeled in that shit? Yeah, that's why I said, no. And I love it because you tested her and she fired right back. And then it was, look what happened. You know, and that is what I'm talking about. Most of the people I met here, look, me and Raquel, I didn't even like her the first 15 minutes. Like, no, y'all didn't know that. We've talked about it. She blushes. She knows I talk about it. But you know what? I was in a bad mood. I was going through the same thing. And she comes along and I'm the same exact thing. And that's what this show and this community is about. It's about talking about this kind of stuff because it's fun. It makes happen. It's not something you learn in school in a textbook and follow a formula, man. There's a lot of art to this. There's a lot of messing things up and being playful. And you guys personified this. And you do big business because I didn't even know y'all were successful. I heard you talking. I'm like, what? What'd you say? So I didn't know that you were all over the place in your real estate business and y'all, that is insane. And so, but you're real down to earth, regular folks. It's not a facade. It's not, you know, you are actually just good people who worked your butt off, figure things out. And then now you benefit others. You share that value and make money and invest that money to help more people. That's why you're here. And that's why I threw you in the hounds in 5 seconds, because that's what it's about, man. So,
and
guys,
thank you for that.
Comments, my pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you for your kind words. You're a scholar and a gentleman, or a gentleman and a scholar, however you say it. You're awesome.
I'll take. And I'm a magician. See that ching?
I see that.
I like that.
I see that.
So, yeah, man. I'm just so excited. I can't even think. All right.
Well,
So
can I add something real quick, Mike?
please.
Okay, because it just brought something to mind. Like when Michael said that to me and, I fired right back, right? It brought to mind so many years earlier when I started my career. I was selling vacuum cleaners door to door for 3 years to pay my tuition for school. And then that's when I learned really the first lessons in personal branding, because I realized, hey, it doesn't work like the I Love Lucy show. You can't just open up their door and throw a bag of dirt in and then they'll let you in to vacuum it up. It's not how it works. And that still doesn't get you their wallet, right? So I had to come up with a story. But later on, 3 years later, I actually was recruited into radio by a radio engineer that I sold a vacuum cleaner to, by the way. So he says, come on into radio and you should apply for a sales job. So I did. And I started then calling on some, knocking on some doors with more commas and zeros, right? These were people spending thousands of dollars a month on ads. And I was this young girl who really, like, by all accounts, I could walk up to the door and knock, knock. And it's like, you don't know what you're doing. Get out of here unless you have free tickets to the game or free lunch, right? So I got pissed, to be frank with you. I did. And I think that, some of that, fire and venom comes from experiences like that. And I wasn't mad at them. I was mad because they were right. I realized at that moment that if I wanted people to view me differently, I had to change the way I presented myself. And that is all about personal branding right there, right? If you want to be seen as an expert or an authority, you've got to present yourself that way. And I learned it and it worked so well for me. Then I started bringing my clients into the studio and really working with them on stuff like that. So that is, that's pretty much what I wanted to add to that, is just that comes from challenge, right? And so everybody out there has probably dealt with that type of challenge or many more. And I know I have, and it made me mad, but if you internalize that and say, okay, what can I change about this? That's what turned things around for me. Sidebar. Thank you for letting me do it.
Actually, it's like you had a cheat sheet. Michael, you want to add something?
I just think she's right about it. I think that we get out here when you're in business and you knock around and you try to do the best you can and figure out what's going on. But I think it's really when you get sort of like angry about it, that you like hunker down, and then owning that space is really where people tend to bend towards you now, because you're not wishy-washy about where you're at or what you're doing. You're serious about it. And you're the squeaky wheel, and we know they get the grease, right? So I think that she's got a point right there. We've seen it in other terms in other industries. I see it with my agents. I see it with some of our brand face clients in other industries when they finally accept it, and then this is my brand, and I'm going this way because this is what I believe in, what I'm doing, and burn the bridges behind me. That's when it turns. And then all of a sudden you become, something besides just a commodity. You become sought after.
Yeah.
See, that's the stuff we want to talk about here. That's why people tune in. They want to hear like the behind the scenes and the real. I explain it this way. It's like a rotisserie chicken, right? We're not 2D. We're 3, 4, 6D, right? We just roll. So we want to rotate that for people, because I mean, it's easy to look at people like you guys and go, I'll never be able to do that. And I have to think, if you, and that's the next question, from vacuum sales lady to very successful branding business, right? And you got to think, you did it by determination and a whole lot of sweat and tears and mistakes. And so how did you go from that journey? How was the brand, the concept of brand face? How did it form? How did you stumble upon this? Where did it come from?
Okay. So it started, like I said, when I went to media, I realized I've got to up my game. I've got to level this up here because I'm dealing with more commas and zeros and doors that slam harder in my face. And so once I figured out how to position myself to say within the first 30 seconds, that's when you've got to grab these guys, because they're used to spending a lot of money and they only want to deal with people who know how to spend that money right. So I had to really change things immediately. I actually became one of the very first people in the entire country as a radio sales rep to have my own website. And so that was the first thing. I put together a flyer. I left it behind. It had my website. Here's how I can help you. Boom, 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 boom. So that's a lot about personal branding. Really, a personal brand is designed to precede you. It's designed so that before you enter the room, people should already be familiar with you and what you stand for. That's when you know it's really, really working well. So I did that. And then when it worked so well for me, all of a sudden these doors started flying open everywhere. It's like, golly, this stuff actually works, right? And so then I started teaching them how to do it, beginning with bringing some of my top tier radio clients in and saying, okay, I know this is going to make you uncomfortable, but I've written a script here. I want you to deliver it. I found out the story of their business. I helped them share that story through 30 and 60-second commercials. They did that. And then they became rock stars in their space in the market. Yeah. And so I saw that and it just kind of snowballed from there, right? And so fast forward years later, I'll save you the part where I left, finally the radio world in 2006 and struck out on my own and had a little agency, and that all went really well. Until I realized in around 2011, I'm sitting there and I thought, oh my goodness, anybody who walks through that door, I can do business with. Because this was out of the great mortgage debacle, right? Where we just did whatever we could to scrape by and get money through the door. All of a sudden, if you knew how to do it, you were doing it for money, right? You were building websites. I was putting together marketing strategies and personal branding and shooting video and all of those kind of things because we could, right? Then I'm sitting there one day and I thought, okay, anybody that walks through that door, I can do business with. That's awesome. But then I thought, oh my God, my stomach dropped. Anybody who walks through that door, I can do business with. This is the kiss of death. Because that means I'm no longer special. There's nothing specialized about me. And at that moment, I had to sit back and really do a reassessment of who I was and what I really wanted and what I really loved and was good at. And so I figured out all through those years of media and agency, the one thing that really was my passion was helping people perfect that personal brand and tell their story in such a way that it connected and attracted exactly the people they wanted to attract. So then I'm sitting there, okay, what's this called? And all of a sudden the word brand face came to my mind. Here's another fun story for you. I'm sitting in my office and there are two people on either side of me, both of whom are brilliant marketing minds. And I said to them, okay, what do you guys think about brand face? Because I was writing the book. It was the name of the book at the time. What do you guys think about this? And one of them said, have you tried this? Have you thought about this? The other one said, I don't know. And that's the moment the mama lion came over, mama bear or whatever came out in me. And it's like, never mind. And I pulled up LegalZoom and I trademarked it. That's when I knew for sure that was going to be the name. It's like, it can't get any easier. It can't get any better. It says what it is. You're the face of your brand. You are a brand face. Yeah. And so now when I put in, Google terms, hey, just put your name in terms that you want it to ping you on when you come up. Brand face is all about so-and-so is the brand face of this new company, the brand face of this new company, right? So I knew I had the right term. So that's how it all kind of came to be. Thank you for letting me go on that monologue now, because that was around the same time that I met Michael. And so he was the very first real estate brand face, and boy, did I hit the jackpot. In many ways. Yes, it is. It is. So now I have to tell this story. That might have been the first time I've ever heard that. I have to tell. Thank you for letting me go on, because I have to tell this part of the story, and then I'll let Michael fill in the blanks. It was such an amazing thing. It's like, I've got this guy here. I'm going to talk nice about him because he's probably not going to do this for himself. At the time, I did not realize that he was America's top selling real estate auctioneer. He has been involved in, well, now it's literally probably well over 100,000 real estate transactions. the billboards say 78,000 plus, right? But at the time it was around 58,000, I think, when we first met. It was huge. And nobody will probably ever top that because of that moment in history during the great debacle. He was licensed in 31 states as an auctioneer and as a broker. So he did actually broker all of these real estate deals. So he had seen so much. So I'm thinking, how can we utilize this? How can we leverage this about you? That is personal branding. So it was such a joy to step into that spot and say, man, did I hit the jackpot with this first real estate client ever? Because he was the creme de la creme, right? He was gold. And so that was super easy. We're going to say 78,000 transactions or 58 at the time, whatever it was. And that's going to parlay into, okay, well, that's great, but what does that mean to me as a client, right? That's going to parlay into experience, because nobody has seen more things go right and go wrong than Michael Carr in real estate. Right. And so we leveraged that for a very long time, until about 8 years later, he kind of fell into the space that he's in now. And we sort of rebranded. He's still America's top selling real estate auctioneer, but now he's the Abundant Life Broker, simply because his main mission in life is to hire and inspire really great salespeople and inspire many people in the Brand Face family too, to have that abundant life they deserve. That's really where his heart is and what he's all about. And so thank you for letting me go on about you.
You can go on. You still got 29 minutes.
I know. I was not expecting to spend all that time on you, but hey. It's
He's the beauty, you're the brains. We get it.
So that's actually the story of how we met and how we took what he was known for in one sense of the word and just exploded that into making his brokerage grow and attracting the right agents into his brokerage, the right clients into it. And so all of that, kind of emanates from that. So there you go.
So no, I love that. And the audience loves it, or, they wouldn't be here. But I mean, so many times you jump into what it is you do. And then it just kind of turns into a, pretend not to pitch slap. But when you figure out, I mean, daggone, dude, if you haven't seen Meredith Grundy on my show, talking about her stories, gee whiz, man, the lady speaks at Google and Mercer, and she's made crazier mistakes than me. And she talks about it. And that's why people like her, and she can coach people. It's very disarming because it's real, right?
Mm-hmm.
She just herself all the time. And that's what it's about. So on that note, because we've touched on this, you guys are unique, but time went on. It's a lot longer than 2011, right? So to stay competitive, what sets you apart from other branding firms? Because, man, it's like the catchphrase came out. The book Story Brand came out. I've heard of that. I've read it. It was all right. Sorry if you're watching this, guy, that I just mentioned. But, yeah, it just, now everybody's like a big branding. You were doing it before it was cool, right? That's what I hear. So how are you different, and what sets you apart from other personal branding firms?
Great question.
That's a great question. We build profitable personal brands, right?
And it's all we do. It's literally all we do. Like you go, if you go to, for instance, if you go to Wix and you're going to build you a website, they'll help you build your brand. You can put in branding companies and then look up what they do. There will be a plethora, a literal cornucopia of tasks that they would do for you, from funnel building to Facebook ads to in LinkedIn groups to help you write a book. They'll help you learn how to ride a tricycle and on a wire. They'll help you learn to juggle for your brand. Like, it's the craziest thing ever. But we don't do any of that. We don't do it. We have access to the best of the best inside of our group and our network. But we believe that everything starts with the brand, and that's all we do. We build a comprehensive, personal, profitable brand for people that want to be the face of their business. And then after that, they're ready for the launch of what to do with it. And so many times, I did it for 20 years before I met Tanya. I'm a marketer. I've always been a marketer. In fact, I thought I was hiring her to be a marketing company. And what she sold me was marketing, but what she taught me was branding. And they're totally two different things. And so I think that's what definitely separates us, is we recognize that most people, when they say, I'm going to help you build a brand, they're helping you promote a brand. we literally look at 77 different criteria per client to structure what that brand is going to look like and who you really are and what really drives you. And it is that ends up making people successful in what they do.
Yeah, and you wasn't born with silver spoons in your mouth, right? You're not just making this stuff up like textbook garbage. You actually have done it and formulated. And here's the great thing: the money wasters and the time wasters that you all have spent years figuring out the hard way, you could teach us not to do it. Save time. That's what my thing is. Like, well, I'm gonna help you grow on LinkedIn and do business. Yeah, but I'm gonna also tell you, don't do that because that'll that'll make your hairline fall out. That's what that does, right? And you all get it. And I love that. Man, so because think about it, and let me ask you what you think about this, and then we'll take a question because I told we'll put Johanna. But branding is almost such a word that's so general, it can mean damn near anything. So like when somebody says branding, you could ask 50 people and get 51 different answers, right? So specifically, I love how you phrased it. You can teach people the brand. And how would you simplify the definition of brand? If you could generalize it and everybody had to mean the same thing, what would you make that word mean?
I think feeling is probably what it all culminates into, right? Mm-hmm. Because if you know who somebody is and what they stand for, you get this feeling about them, and the feeling can be negative or neutral or positive, right? So a great brand really has three different outcomes if we think about it. If somebody sees a great, like a well-defined brand, you're going to elicit one of three responses. Hey, that is exactly what I'm looking for. That's one. Two is, that's not a fit. And third is, oh, that's interesting. Let me learn more. And the one in the middle, the no, that's not a fit, is probably the most important of all because it's done strategically, right? Not that we're trying to repel people, but we're trying to attract the exact type of people that we want to do business with every day.
Mm. Are y'all taking notes? They give us the way for free. Jesus Christ, man! They might be mad at me. They might be mad at me because I tricked them or something. But
well, I want to answer a specific question for Nicole. Nicole asked, about marketing things are here today, gone tomorrow. So how do you leave an impression that is felt? And that is exactly what personal branding is. Number one, you get facial recognition. Very important. We're building it into robots and phones and computers now. And, so facial recognition we've known that for 100 years, babies, recognize their mom's face and different facial expressions when you show them to them, then a different face and stuff like that. We've always known that. So number one, you get the remembrance of a face. Like it's that somebody is at the helm of this business, right? Let me give you an example. Even to big business, super big business, right? Tell me everything you know about Virgin Airlines or Virgin Tennis Shoes or Virgin Cola or Virgin Records. And then tell me everything you know about Richard Branson. And we all know a lot more about Richard Branson than we know about the companies that he has started, founded, built to billions of dollars and owns. And it's because we care about him. We don't care about, Virgin Airlines, right? Because we're pretty sure that Virgin Airlines doesn't care about us. And so, that when you build like big brands like that, they still need the personal branding because the people, Southwest Airlines was another one here, Kentucky Fried Chicken, Orville Redenbacher. Orville Redenbacher he spent 40 years finding a perfect kernel that would pop 90% and 98% of the time. And it has had the perfect hydration levels and all of this, right? And then he gets his partner and they fight for 10 years to get into the grocery stores. And it's like Bill and Bob's popcorn. And then they're not selling and they're on the bottom shelf. And then they hire a branding company and the branding company says, you're the one that spent this 30 years learning all of this. You should be the brand with the bow tie and everything. You wear it, like it should be Orville Redenbacher with a name like that. They did that. He's been dead since like 1999 and still Orville Redenbacher sells 60%, like 600 times more. They're still the number one, like their closest competitor in popcorn is like Pop Secret. And they only have like 20% of the market share. So branding works, like personal branding works, and showing your face begins that trek down the feeling. And Mike, you talk about it all the time on your show about being real and being real people and showing those warts and saying, I made a mistake. And I did all of this. That is the feeling that you write into your bios, that you build into your brand, that you make a part of your story. And that's the feeling that sticks, and why people say, you know what, I want to talk to that person again, or, you know, I don't even know if there's a fit, but I want to talk to them again. And you've built an entire following based on that. That is a personal brand. In fact, we're so impressed with you building a personal brand, never knowing us, because that's what you've done. And you've done good. You've done really good at it. And we love it.
But that's why I reached out to you guys after we connected, because I'm like, okay, I got whatever, but I don't know what to do with it. Like there's phases, and it's kind of a spectrum. And at a point you're like, okay, crap. Like, and that's when you should reach out. I mean, so if you don't have a brand, you do have a brand. It's more than you think. It's more than just recognition. It's just more than, reputation. It really is an evolving thing. I mean, the very first banner, first of all, you said Orville Redenbacher, man. Anybody, I hope they ran that up north, and anybody under 40 can figure out, Google it. All right. It's a great example. But it reminded me, how old is the Gerber baby now? 170? Like the baby hasn't changed.
That's another good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The Gerber baby.
Okay. Now somebody tell me what I was jabbering about before I got sidetracked with the
Gerber the Bush's baby. Beans dog. There you go. He's another one, right?
Another one, actually.
Yeah, I can't remember his name. Yeah. It escapes me. So if anybody knows it, shoot it up to us.
So Bush's, I did
roll that beautiful bean footage.
If he was my dog, he'd be named Half Baked.
Yes, you guys are for Georgia. So okay, I remember what I was going to say now. It was dadgummit, did I forget it again? Oh Lord. The biology where you said. The feeling it elicits in people. Sometimes it transcends words. Like when we were cavemen and women and stuff, and we come out of our cave, it could be a bear or a bush. We didn't have time to kind of psychologically figure it out. It was a biological issue. So is that kind of a fair comparison? It's people might not be able to describe it. They just know if they like it or not. And they may be wrong, but just deep down inside, you ever met somebody you didn't like, you didn't know why? That's biology, right? So is that kind of the same thing where people, they don't even have to understand it? Maybe they just recognize it and either like it or not mad at it. Is that kind of on the right track?
I do think that there's a lot of instinctual response like that. I do. But what we hope to do is shape that instinctual response. Okay, so here's one of my pet peeves. There are a lot of branding gurus out there who will say, hey, just do what you do, just be yourself. Your clients will decide what your brand is. And I go crazy. Right? You can just hear it in my voice and see it in my eyes. So that's because why would you ever let your client decide who and like what your perception is and what they want to see you as? It is up to you. You have an obligation to influence the way you want people to see you. And that's why you spend the time and the focus figuring out how to present yourself in a very authentic light. You want something to present you the way that you truly are, but a lot of times we have this persona out there in the digital world where, let's face it, 98% of people meet your brand before they meet you, right?
Oh, yeah.
So we have this persona out there and we don't always know how it's representing us, or we don't even think about how it's representing us. So that's a huge difference. Like when we have the opportunity to craft that, then we definitely should craft that in a way that feels real to us. So why wouldn't I take control of how I want people to see me, the real me?
I love it. Love it. And I had that issue when, again, I just threw something on the wall, just threw the crap on the wall, put my hat on, got tired of not wearing a suit. And then it started working. But then it was maybe several months later, I had some clients or friends of mine who were with me in the beginning, but they had a problem. They're like, it's hard to introduce you as the redneck. We're talking, some big metropolitan northern attorneys trying to market me, but they having trouble with that. And I had two rednecks having a chit chat, so it wasn't the most professional thing, right? And so it was funny to me that I got real defensive. Ugly baby, it's mine, and how dare you? To they kind of got a point. I don't want to X people out that otherwise would. And I daggum sure don't want these women not able to speak about me. So it was a hard process. Would have been a lot better with you all helping me, because that's what, but I did. I said, you know what? There's a way to keep myself and do it in a little bit, more of a professional fashion. And I was able to do that. Now we've got the brand, but I'm still a big old crust bucket, say crazy things I ain't supposed to. None of that's changed. But I'm, what it did is it helped me. It was an ego thing, and I think that's, even if you're really good in your brand and you got a lot going on, it doesn't hurt to do a quality control check with a couple pros that can see the forest from the trees, and that's what I'm most excited about. Because let me ask you this, because a couple people popped in. Nicole had a similar one. You mentioned it, but I don't know. Maybe Michael want to fill this in. Again, I think this was key. Our audience wants to know, what's the difference between branding and marketing? You mentioned it, but man, you can repeat that.
Yeah.
What is
So the way we define it, and have been defining it she's been defining it, going on 2.5 decades. And we just started finding it in the book 11 years ago, going on 12 years ago, is that marketing are the platforms that you use to get a message to your ideal customer. So it could be anything, your ads, Google ads, Facebook ads, social media ads, your LinkedIn profiles, your podcast, your book, your website, all of these things are your marketing platforms to get your message out there. Your brand is that message. So marketing is spending the money to get it out there. And where people make such a huge mistake, I made this mistake for years. Like, I asked a guy one time worth $1 billion. Okay. He's a friend of mine. I can call him on the phone and talk to him anytime. I've flown on his plane. I've been in his houses. I asked him one time, I said, tell me how much money my firm should be spending at this income level in marketing. And his answer was all of it. That was his answer. All of it. I said, are you kidding me, dude? Like, really and truly, like, that's your answer. Like, that's your guru. I'm worth $1 billion. Now you're telling me this is how I can be worth $1 billion. Just spend all of it. That's ridiculous. Right. But he also was one of those guys that thought, and of course he didn't make his money in marketing, by the way, but he, so he, is slinging stuff against the wall, slinging it against the wall. We've all done it. I did it for 20 years. I was a senior vice president of the second largest auction company on earth. We spent $20 million a year in marketing. I know how to do this. And when I came to my little shop, I'm like, okay, I know how to do this. I'll just sling it against the wall, and I'll, half of it a stick, and I'll make some money out of it.
Right.
The problem with that is that when I was doing that, I had a different message on different platforms to different people about all of it about real estate, but none of it was congruent. And none of it led to each other, and none of it spider webbed or overlapped or what I like to call layered. None of it layered. And when Tanya came into my life and said, look, you've got to put some blinders on for just a minute, see the lane that you're in, not the whole track, and the other horses that are running along behind you and beside you. You've got to get focused on what you're doing. And we need to know an ideal customer, and we need to know a secondary customer. And so I'm like, well, I'm in real estate. I'll sell a house to anybody. She said, yeah, but you're going to spend your money going after a certain person. Who is that person? And she made me think about that. And when I started to do that, and then I made that brand, and then we leveraged America's top selling real estate auctioneer into why that was important to that one ideal customer and that secondary customer every now and then all of a sudden my reports made sense. And then I could literally trace back, okay, that same message showed up in 5 different places. These 2 did not work at all. These 2 killed it. This one's worth holding on to because it was $1 in, $1 out. But I knew that they were all the same message. And then, and not long at all, that began to double over on top of itself, because I cut out the 2 that didn't work, spent more money on the 2 that did, stayed the same on the 1 that stayed the same, and then the money started coming in. Then I was able to take some more money off of what I was making and add that to the things that were working. And then when the message was dialed in, and we still do this to this day, 11 years later, we still do the same thing. When we start a marketing platform, we say, okay, we want to go into this area and we want to be on the radio. What's the demographic? Who's our ideal customer? What is the message? And we don't change that. And it's how you actually stop being a spray and pray marketer, which Tanya coined that phrase 20 years ago, that spray and pray, and you really start to focus on who you're supposed to be. And that's how you grow a business. That's how you scale a business.
Dude, hey, you taught him well. Like, hey, he belted that out. He's passionate. You both are passionate. Yeah, no, I mean, he gets to going like that. That's the Southern way, man. That's why we get along. That's why we got to grab a sticker.
You get a car. You get a car.
Yeah. Dude, and when we get so passionate, a 1 hour meeting turns into like 10 days, man. I love it, dude. But again, you rather be with people like. People say watch the time. I said, what the heck? I'm not watching anything. I'm gonna watch the person's, because here's what I'm gonna watch. If they do this, then I'm out. Now I know I talk
right.
too damn much. But if I'm talking and they're still paying attention, who cares what time it is? You know, that again, that's the connection. All right. So Raquel is dying. There's 2 questions I have to ask you guys because it kind of rolls in some of the questions the audience had. Well, first of all, I guess I'll ask this one first. What are the 5 critical questions every successful brand must answer? Or give us at least 3 or something.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty telling.
So thanks for teeing it up. Like we came up with this probably a decade ago. And it's true no matter who you are, what you do. It is, and you guys can jot these down, right? But number 1, exactly who do you serve? 2, how do you serve them? 3, what qualifies you to serve them? 4, how does it make their life better? And 5, what makes you different from everyone else who is also trying to serve that same customer? A great brand begins with answering those questions. You have to have the answers to those questions super dialed in, and then the rest comes later. There are a lot of people out there that can build a pretty brand, right? This gorgeous logo, some great photos, and a nice tagline, right? That's awesome. But pretty is not enough in today's world. If it's not purposeful and profitable, you have missed the mark. For yourself, you've missed the mark. So when we look at those things, that's where it all begins. And another thing is a lot of people, when they decide, hey, I'm going to rebrand or I'm getting ready to brand for this new direction or whatever it is, the first thing they think of is, okay, I need a logo, I need a photo shoot, right? Well, that's true. You do need those things, but those things actually come toward the end of your branding journey, believe it or not, because how do you know what kind of photos to take? What props would you need? Where would you be? What would you be wearing? What sort of poses would you be doing? Those kind of things. How do you know what kind of logo it is? What do you want that logo to convey if it's the only thing somebody sees, right? What are the colors that you're going to put into that logo, right? So all of that begins with the story, and your story begins with answering those 5 questions. Long answer to a short question, but there you go.
Oh, I love it. And y'all remind me, I don't want to call her out, but y'all got to talk to CJ, Dr. Constance. Man, dude, just the combination of both you all, you're very smart. You know your stuff academically, but you put it into action like no other. That's why when I found out she was academic, I said, oh, sweet Jesus, not another one. And then I saw her doing all this crazy stuff and creating things. And I'm like, oh, wow, I didn't know they did that. Right? I just thought they taught and ate lunch and went home grumpy, professor, right? So, yeah, you guys are a breath of fresh air. I love what you're saying. And audience, that's why I asked the question, because I wanted to roll it in, because we're going to be here till midnight and Raquel's got kids, so we can't do that.
And now Johanna has asked a couple of questions I want to answer for her too. So if we can dig those out, that'd be awesome. I saw him scroll through.
Yeah. There you go. What if you sell a luxury product in a way, if it's not really a service?
Okay. So you're really selling a product and not a service, right? Well, but you are the one delivering the service that gets them to that product, right? So it's still, you're that human connection between them and what they want. And so if you can present yourself in a way like, what would they be asking for? What would that ideal customer who's buying that luxury product, what are they looking for in the person that's going to help them secure that luxury product? And then, of course, the luxury product that you're selling becomes part of your brand too, because you have to share the uniqueness of the product, not just the uniqueness of how you help them get to that product. I hope that helps.
Yeah, no, that made sense. I love what you said. So you're the service that connects them to the product. Yeah, there's still a base there. And it could very well be the difference between them buying this person's art or something and the other person not. I mean, honestly, you got two great works of art. Somebody's really nice and good to you, and the other one kicks you in the face. Yeah, I'm going with Art B, right? Like, all right. So, look, my producer, I'm not used to having a quiet producer who doesn't yell at me.
I know somebody asked before, and I think it might have been Nicole. She asked, how do you get someone who is, what's the word? Internal, what's the word?
Introverted. Yeah,
introverted. That's it. Introverted. Okay. So Michael's not necessarily introverted, but I would like him to answer this question because there was parts of him that actually were before we started working together.
Well, yeah, because mainly I just didn't want to do anything anymore. I just wanted to go fishing. I told her, we're just going to build this company and it's going to have my name on the door, but somebody else is going to run it and I'm going to retire. And she's like, no, not if you're going to work with me. You have to be the face of the brand. And she pushed me out there rather than pulling me back. And what was interesting that happened with that, and we say this all the time too, a good brand doesn't just change how others see you. It changes how you see yourself. And so, as she told you before, I went from being America's top selling real estate auctioneer, which could be tied to actual physical data, to really evolving into the abundant life broker, because I didn't see myself when I started working with her as a person that really wanted to help people. I really didn't. I never even thought about that would be the case. Not that
there's honesty for you.
Not that I'm not a helpful person. I want to be clear about this. Not that I'm not a helpful person. It's just I didn't see myself as motivational. That wasn't what I was going for. But what happened over time is with agents, when you get agents and you have to foster those agents, and then you help build brands for those agents, then you begin to grow into that next thing. And it became the Abundant Life Broker. And I realized I actually do have a love like you do for just helping people do better. And, especially when they want to. But there's a key to that. And I'm going to tell you the key to it. I asked this guy one time, I was on his cruise ship, right? And this guy was playing the piano and he claimed he could play 3,000 songs by heart. And I don't know, I sat there for a good drunken night and I know he did 300. So I'm like, okay, well, we might be on to something. I ain't seen nothing, no paperwork, no nothing. And so in his break, I walked over there and I sat down with him. I started talking to him and he's like, oh man, he gave me his resume. He's like, he was probably in his mid 60s. He had played all over the place. He played with Elvis or something. Like it had been like, this dude could name all kind of people, been in Grand Ole Opry and stuff like this. I'm like, why are you doing cruise ships? He said, well, because I get to work whenever I want. He said, I take the contracts 3 or 4 months at a time. Me and my wife go all over the world. We've been everywhere. And all I got to do is play, which I enjoy doing. And I get to drink while I'm doing it. And I said, man, that's awesome. And then I asked a natural question. I said, do you ever teach when you're at home and stuff? And he goes, I love to teach. But he said, this is the thing. Whenever parents come to me and say, will you teach my kid how to play the piano? I say, does your kid ever go to the piano and play it by themselves? And just bang out something. And if they tell me no, I won't work with them. Because what he differentiated is the people who want to talk and the people who want to do. And he said, I want to spend the time with the people who want to do.
Dude, hey, man, dadgummit. So, speaking of drink, dadgummit, there you go. Take a sip. It's been, what, an hour in? Nobody's sober. Oh, sweet Jesus. All right. So, all right, let me put two of them, because I don't want to keep you forever, but I want to make sure we get this out, and then we have to let folks know. Let me ask you two more quick questions. All right. I can't make up my mind, like a dog with 2 food bowls. So how can people know, and this is key, man, how can people know if their brand is hurting or helping them? How can we right now, if we think we're good, how do we know if we're not good, vice versa?
Okay, well, the number one way is, are you making money?
That's a good list.
If you don't want to make money, do not call us. Okay. But the number one way is, are you making money? Are you as profitable as you know you could be? Okay. Another thing is, are you spread too thin? Are you involved? And we as entrepreneurs, we've been there. I assure you we have. You may have a book you're working on, a TEDx talk you're trying to do. You've got a course you're working on. You've got, a coaching program you're doing, a podcast, or you're appearing on podcasts. The list goes on, right? And before you know it, your week is filled up with all that stuff and you got no business sitting there, right? And so if that is happening to you, that means things aren't streamlined so that one thing feeds the other and there's one consistent purpose and brand to bring you profit. So those are the kind of things that we look at. And I'd say those are two of the really big ones. There's lots of them. Like, are you attracting some of the wrong people, the people that just have you running in circles but are never willing to pay for your services, right? So there's a lot of things like that that really can hit at the heart of whether your brand is helping you or hurting you. But those are three of probably the biggest ones.
Oh my goodness, man. Look, it seriously, if this is what you talk about for free, I can't wait to see. And I get to see it. We're going to talk about it real quick, but I have to ask this because I don't even know what this is. Tell us about the 3D formula, right? To be bold. What was it? To be bold and unbeatable brand. I think I got it.
Yeah.
What is it?
That was pretty close.
I'll cue you up. Go for it.
Okay. So the major framework in simplistic form is the 3D formula. We define, that is the first D. And that's where we sit down. We talk with our clients. We look at 77 different criteria. We do a personality sheet with them. We find out everything we can, what drug them into what they're doing. And really where the litmus test is whether they're serious about it or whether they're just sort of thinking this is what they want to do. So the define phase is the very first one that we want to, because that's where you start.
Yep. And then the next one is development. So in that define phase, you're looking at all these different things and you're trying to decide on our end. It's like, okay, how are we going to position this person in their space so that they are so unique that they have no competition anymore, right? Greatest line ever that this lady down in New Orleans gave us when we had her on our Be Bold Branding podcast after we finished her brand. I said, what did this do for you? And she said, well, I don't have any competition anymore. And I thought that is freaking genius, right? And I've never forgotten it. So when we get that position down, then we move into development, and we're developing all those parts and pieces where a lot of other people start, right? The photos, the logos, the things like that. But we start that with the brand messaging first. Everything comes with the message first. Once we get all those parts and pieces, then we move into display, making sure that the new brand or the new branding elements are displayed correctly and consistently across everywhere you exist. Because remember, 98% of people meet your brand before they meet you.
Yep.
Nice. And just right there, I want to reiterate, y'all said it like 2-3 times. Everybody else, or many people, all right, they put the cart before the horse, at least in your opinion, and your successes say, look, you're doing the photos and these things backwards. And that's what we think of. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like, I don't know, like, what's it called? Like folklore. You know, it's almost just some shit somebody said, nobody ever questioned, like it's an authority, right? Like, hey, you got to get your picture and stuff. You never stop to think, well, and it's interesting because I've had clients, even doing, LinkedIn and business coaching. I became a dating coach and a photo coach and all kind of stuff. It's weird, but it's fun. But like, I even had professional, unbelievable people, well-known people send me a photo and say, is this appropriate for LinkedIn, or what do you think about this picture? And I'm like, but it was interesting because it does matter and I said, here's
it does.
The thing. Yeah. If you're going to go to a place where a lot of women are going to get angry, yeah, don't do that. But if you're going to go to somewhere else, that might be okay. It's interesting that we had thought about it and that they thought about it. Depends. Like, I could wear a clown suit if it was a child's birthday, right? Like, it depends on what it is.
In what context is what you always ask. In what context, right? It makes a huge difference. It's like, what are you trying to convey? Because if you're trying to convey blank, well, you nailed it, right? But if you're trying to convey this, you have missed the mark. Yeah,
no, and that's it just so easy that it just eludes you, and that's what I like about you guys, man. It could be complicated, but you guys simplify it. You speak well, I would say speak plain English, but come on, we kind of speak Kentucky Southern hillbilly.
We think we do.
Yeah, well, Raquel's always saying that English is not her first language, and I said mine either. Like, I speak Merc, and then I speak English. So yeah. Let me get to this because I am actually, hey, I get to join your mastermind. That is unbelievable. It is March, or I'm sorry, man, this is April.
It's Monday.
It's Monday, this coming Monday, May 1st, right? And I think the thing that caught my attention, when you all put this out and I looked at it, I went to your website, and it was undercharging for your services. And you either say yes, no, or I have no idea. And I think most of us would fall under, I don't think so, but I don't know. But correct me if I'm wrong, because again, this is your business. But what is it, like something like 9 or 10 coaches and experts haven't even figured out like how to market it? They're undercharging and they don't need to. Is that, did I get that right?
That actually comes from personal research of the last almost 12 years of me and the rest of our team taking potential sales calls, right? People are interested in coming into the program. And almost every time we ask somebody, okay, what are you charging? Do you feel like you're charging what you're worth? It's like, nope. It's very clear to them almost every single time. Nope, I'm not doing it. And a lot of times that comes from they're not positioned in the right spot. So they not able to command that rate, or they're targeting the wrong people who cannot or will not pay that rate. And so we've got to make all those things align somehow and figure all of that out. And so, yeah, 9 out of 10. Yeah.
We find most people, I mean, we're in this space every day for the last 12 years. We find that most people fall to what pricing based on what they think their audience can afford, rather than elevating their audience to what their program's worth. And that every bit of that comes from positioning, every bit of it.
Yeah. And that's what you said there. I mean, again, most of us are like me, they just fall into a business, or they kind of, like you guys, gravitate to it. So, you love helping people, you're kind of onto something. Because other people told you were, not that you had confidence, right? But you're getting stuff done. In my case, I didn't know. I was like, well, I can't coach anybody to grow on LinkedIn. They're like, you just did it for free for 40 people in the last 6 months. I'm like, oh, I did. Yeah. And so from that point of, oh, hey, here it is, to what do I charge? I mean, I don't even act like anybody else. Like I'm like a Martian in this land. So it's so confusing. And what impressed me is that you guys asked me the right questions. Just asking me the questions, I perked up like a flower getting water for the first time. Like, it was like, and my mind went from overwhelm and I don't know where to start to, damn, that's a good idea. I need to ask myself. I don't know the answer to that question. Hell, I didn't know to ask the question, right? These kind of things, man, that's why I wanted to have you guys out here. Because when you start talking about these things, we're busy people. We don't see value. We see just a waste of investment. Everybody's talking branding, nothing. It's weird to us. So you kind of remove that stigma that branding's not weird. It goes hand in hand with marketing. And a lot of people, myself included, put the cart before the horse. So, again, that's why I'm going to join it, because I know I have, just like Michael Gale, he says, hey, when's the last time you worked out? 4 years ago. Matter of fact, I stand up and walk twice a day in like 10 seconds. So it was kind of one of those aha moments. Like I'm a victim of my own successes at this point. I don't like, it's just entrepreneurship. When you go over here and fix this thing, that thing broke again. And you're just running back and forth, man, just like Bugs Bunny. So I love the fact that you guys make this clear from experience, proven that you know what you're doing. It's not your first time. You have lots of clients, small, mid, and large clients, right? You're being modest too right now, Tanya. But you guys, I mean, you married one of them. He's not small. He just acts modest. But we love it. So you can help anybody from a brand new coach to a small company, small cap. You can pretty much help anybody, right? So tell me who is this webinar mastermind? Who is it for? What's it going to teach them, and where can they find to register? Tell us about it.
You got it. Want me to do this?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do this.
Go ahead, boss.
I'm used to talking about it. So, all right. So, really, it's for coaches, experts, creators, right? Anybody that depends on their brand to represent them before they walk in the room. Okay, and basically, if you're looking to focus your business in a way that you're spending less time and having much greater impact, able to charge more, that's what this mastermind is for. What another phrase we coined a while back is change how you're seen and you'll be able to charge what you're worth. Change how you're seen, charge what you're worth. And because it's really all about that. I know, because many years ago, I had to do it. Guys, I started in the radio world in 1988. There were no cell phones, no internet, and no fax machines. Okay. So I'm dating myself here, but that's when I was in the radio world when I got my first big lesson for this. But basically, if you are either rebranding, starting out in a different direction, not sure how to do it. You've been running the business for a while. It's pretty focused, but you keep spinning your wheels because you're getting in front of the wrong people who either can't afford or won't pay for your services. The whole list goes on. Like, if you feel like I'm at a loss here, I know kind of where I want to head, but I'm not really sure how to streamline this and make money. That's what it's all about. And I think Leslie here put the link, and it's also on your screen here. But if you guys, if you can go there and you can like see a lot more about it. But if you want to hit me up on LinkedIn or Mike, because we can share that back and forth, hit either one of us up and let me know that you guys are interested in talking. If you have any questions about it, I will say this: I don't pitch slap. Okay. I promise you, I don't. This is not a hard sell approach. It's literally, if you want to talk about it, we'll get on the phone with you and say, okay, tell me what's going on with you, where you want to head with this, and we'll let you know. And if this is not a fit for you, that's totally cool, because we know so many other amazing people like Mike. Like, we could introduce you to so many other people in the network that might be a better help for you. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of where we come from with it. And I just want to say thank you, my friend.
Yes. Thank you, Michael.
We appreciate you so much, and appreciate everybody here that hung with us. Some of the nicest, kindest comments. You guys are amazing.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Man, y'all are you're fun. And again, so much more. We'll have you back here soon, because there's so much more we can talk about and take more audience questions. I try to roll a couple into one. Appreciate the patience. I just wanted to make sure that the meat of what this couple does is impressive. And I don't get impressive. I'm easily amused, yeah, but I'm not easily impressed. There's a difference, right? Throw a slinky down the hall and see what happens. But to listen to them talk, again, we can smell out the BS, and I don't see any here. So I'll put the mustard where the mouth is, if that made any sense. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to the mastermind, and I'm going to report whether it's good or not good. Right? I just tell it like it is. But the fun part is that when you connect with people like this on a friend level, your community, you're helping each other immediately. You build that comfort level. Like, I want to be able to refer somebody. I want to be able to endorse them, right? Not just recommend them like it's toothpaste, right? I want to be able to say, no, these are the people. I went through their stuff. They're rock solid. Absolutely. And they want me to do that, right? For credible.
Absolutely.
So that's what they're very generous. They want to help out. They're willing to send you somewhere else or point you in the right direction or tell you what you need to do before you can get to whatever they can do for you. That's what I love. It's not about the money and the success and fame. It's about all of it by helping people. That's what I love. I help somebody, I got more money. Well, now I can invest like your guy, put all of it in marketing so I can help more people, right? I love that, man, because I heard a similar thing from my old school guy too. And he's like, just throw it over here and make more. I'm like, that sounds a little haphazard. I don't think business school would like that advice, bro. But so good. 2 people scanned it. Awesome. Now we know it works. Got your QR code. We're fancy here, man. We might get some indoor.
I saw that. I like that.
So you said, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but there was Hounds of Business. When you guys reach out and implore more, learn more about the masterclass or the mastermind, Hounds of Business promo code for a hug from Michael. Was that the prize?
Yeah, a hug from Michael. No. Yeah, it might be.
Bring it on in.
Actually,
bring it on in here.
Yeah. Show him the love. Yeah, so we'll do some extra special things for anybody who's interested in coming into the mastermind. If it fits what you're looking to achieve, we'll do right by you for sure.
We will.
Yeah, good. I just want to know who actually watches this thing. So so do that. They go, all right, people watch it. Because I know I have the best people to spotlight, and this is so much fun, guys. It's not even working. You guys worked hard all day long and took extra time out to share this with us.
Well, so did
Because
you.
like Michael said, well, but he said he can just go fishing. He don't have to work. Well, I think it says a lot about you guys that he chooses to work because you love what you do, and people like me need it, right? And you get joy from watching goofballs like me streamline their stuff, right? And make more money and do more good. And yeah, that's why I love you guys, man. So last thing, let me make sure I didn't. We put the website. Go back and message that, guys. This is my final tip. You can. I'll bring Raquel up. I'll let you two because I kept you for an hour and a half. You're so patient. But reach out to these folks. They're pleasant. Best way to reach out. You know what the best way to reach out is, don't you? Make a comment on somebody's post. Stop sending messages that mean nothing. Okay, I'm saying that with authority. Go to somebody's post. Make an effort to actually help them by making a comment. Because every time you make a comment and a like, it helps the other person get better engagement and visibility. So don't blow up their message boxes. Go to their post tomorrow and say thank you in the comments. I guarantee you get a better response and look better. All right. So you guys tell me, somebody sends you messages, I'm gonna take a newspaper, bop with it. Right? Comments on it makes people happy. It works. These guys are all about standing out, being your unique self. This is what I'm telling you. Go out there and be unique, be smart, make comments, work better. All right, guys, we'll see you on the next one. Can't wait to report on your mastermind. I am super excited. And
we are
so
too.
grateful I made a seat. Thanks for having me. I know you screen people and I still got in. So I am stoked. Yeah, I'm ecstatic. So
we accept only the best.
Well, but you made an exception for not. I'm okay. But I'm seriously excited about your guys' approach and your knowledge. I need that. And all professionals have coaches. It's the amateurs who do stuff alone forever. And I noticed that, and it changed my thinking. It really did. Oh, I do that. Really? Better than that guy? Because he's flying on a jet. You're not. Right? Like, learn from that guy. It's duh.
So true. We have coaches ourselves. Yeah.
Absolutely.
At all times, because you can't specialize in everything.
My grandpa always said you can't beat a man at his own game.
Yep. Yeah. That's
so true.
I love
it. So true.
Dude, grab some iced tea, send them a comment, send them a message, inquire, find out if it's for you. Monday's right around the corner. So hopefully I'll notice somebody there with me, but I cannot wait to jump on board with this. So I will let you nice people go. We'll have you back. Welcome to the Hounds. All right. Welcome to the conversation and the goodness. So Raquel, I'll bring you up. If you're still awake, I was easy on her today. I'm proud of myself. She did a good job. She's not a producer. Sia just bribed her into doing this. There you go. How are you?
I'm here, buddy, trying to keep up with your demands. I'm just kidding.
Really? Oh, I was easy. Don't tell Sia how easy I was, or she'll be mad. She'll be like,
my gosh. I really was trying to keep up with all the beautiful, like, golden nuggets that they were just like chunking at us, to be honest with you. It's just so amazing. I'm just so thrilled that they're part of this community. And Tanya and Michael, thank you so much for the time, for the grace and the value that you just like literally like dumped on us right now. The audience really appreciated it.
That's exciting. No, hell, you should have a part 2 because I still have like 500 questions unanswered, and the audience did too. So maybe you could get them in sometime.
Yeah, let me see if I can get in real quick right now, and if they have some, parting words or something like that. But yeah, this is so cool. Like, I enjoyed this program. I tried, like I said, I was trying to keep up, and at the same time, I was trying to just figure things out. Like, oh my gosh. But anyways, they were just amazing.
Well, it's fun because usually we have multiple different things going on, and I wanted to make sure that they had the whole show because just the questions that they asked, and I felt stupid, but it's not stupid because that's why I'm getting their help because they know the answer, and I don't even know what question to ask. I think that's the most like, wow, like, how do you, and Sia's really good at that too. Sia's good at asking people questions. Well, and she make you mad because you're like, I don't want to think of that. I just want to go play. Right. But she's like, no, you think about X, Y, and Z. And sometimes we don't even know what question to ask.
I want to be able to highlight some of the comments that individuals were like, oh my gosh, like this is like just, they had so many questions as well. So I definitely do think, Tanya and Michael, that there should be a part two, okay, part dos for you guys to come back and
I agree.
definitely, right. And then obviously a mastermind, of course, you know, how can we forget that? And I'm so looking forward to that as well. Jeez, like, mind blown. I think somebody was commenting, like I saw a couple of comments that said there, I'm just mind blown at all the different things, you know, the 3D, like the 3D formula and the 5 steps. It's just, whoa, like so much information. So I hope you guys took notes for real though. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I was reading the private chat. I'm like, what's going on? Should they stay or should I stay or should I go? The song was playing back there, you know.
Oh.
It, they are. And again, that's what I like about it,
My
man.
God.
They've been through it. They know what works, what doesn't work. You know, they didn't do this yesterday. You know, and again, they still have
Yeah.
passion for it. After all this time, they don't have to do anything, you know, but they still get so excited to do these things. And that excites me because if they decided to retire, I'd still be flopping around like a fish out of water. So
Oh. No.
yeah, I'm glad they didn't. But yeah, all the
No, it's
people in
for
the
real
comments.
though. Hmm.
I'm sorry, what?
No, no, I guess there must be a delay, but yes, all the people in the comments, they really chimed in, they really asked questions, and like I said, I think they were like not quenched just yet. So definitely want to do a part two. What was this about merchandise for you, Mike, that Randy was
I
talking
don't
about?
know.
What was this?
I'm thinking if we could get some extra large toilet paper,
Good.
M-Gale Outdoor Adventures and the Redneck, you know, might do a joint venture. I don't know
Oh
whose
my
face will be
God.
on the extra large toilet paper, but hey, we can flip coins. All
That's
right.
like toilet paper on steroids, but yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Oh,
Let me
say, what
see.
did you do to deserve that? Um, yeah, I forgot all about the toilet paper, but people still want me to do it. That's mind blowing. That's so silly. But professional people are like TP my show. I'm like, all right, so now
Yes.
I get the two
Yeah.
ply out and go to town, man. All right, so
Yes.
it's getting late. I appreciate you. Your show. Do you have a time for your Raquel's Connection Corner? Do you have a
With
time?
your permission, my sir. Yes, I absolutely do. So I invite you guys this Saturday and every Saturday to join me. I will actually have my beautiful twinsy, Raquel Flores, this Saturday, and the show is at 11 a.m. Central, and that means is noon Eastern for you guys on the East Coast. And so, yes, we're just gonna have like the twinsy thing, the twinsy vibe going. I'll be giving out shout outs. I'll be also unboxing some more products that I received from creators
Wow.
here on LinkedIn. Isn't that so cool? I unboxed these this week, so I'm just super excited. Shout out, shameless plug to Kofi and Duku. So yes, I'm looking forward to it. 11 a.m., 12 noon, okay, Eastern time. So thank you so much for that, Mr.
Yeah,
Mike
I
Astrobrina.
should have done it. Okay? I'm jealous and mad now. Do you see any boxes behind me? You don't know? No, really? So I start all this stuff, and then you get to unbox stuff, and I don't. That's how you
Mm.
know I'm a good coach. Let me close on that. You're the big fat gymnastics coach over at the Olympics, right? You're like, what's he doing, coach? He ain't coaching, but he knows how to make other people gold medalists, right? I can still do it, but I get more excitement because when I teach people, they turn into this, and then they. So I teach this, and guess what? She kicks my butt on a daily basis. So people go, well, he's good, but she's better. That's what I do. What somebody said today, I want to be the guy. I'm like, dude, I need to be the guy maker or the gal maker. That's what I do. Because if I can do it, yeah, I can teach other people to do it and do it well, way better. So I appreciate you, you doing all this stuff. I know you're not a producer, but you have knocked this out of the park. You did a great job. You learned quick. Sia is great. Sia taught you in like 5 minutes, and by God, you did it. So Top
But
Gun, thumbs
but
up.
that speaks to Sia's power of being a fantastic coach and you being a phenomenal team player, and I guess me being okay as a student. So yay!
Yeah, yeah,
Teamwork.
and you're coachable. You're coachable, and you're not full of garbage. I mean, that's pretty much it. That's it. Hey, I'm coachable, and I'm not full of dog crap. That's pretty much what it takes. But on a serious note, that's what I do. If you're a coach, you work forward. Here comes the shameless plug, but I earned it. if you're stuck at wherever you're at and you can't grow, network on social, you're wanting to do something. Maybe you work a corporate job and you don't want to, but you don't know how to start the side hustle. You don't know uh, if you're in the right spot, if you're how to sell. Call me. All right. It's more than just learning to grow on LinkedIn. It's learning a lot of things. Should I do this? How do I do it? And you're going to have a guide, the redneck, who screwed it up way more than you ever could dream of screwing it up. And so I can tell you what doesn't work way just as good as I can what does work. So if you want to grow on LinkedIn, you want to grow in general, you want to be a part of the Hounds in some kind of way, you like what you see, you want to network with some of the best and biggest hearted people, send me a message. All right. So I've got everything from a bunch of free stuff to personalized services. That's what I do. I just want to find solutions, man. You know, I don't need to sell anything. People will see what I do and they'll come to me. But in the meantime, all are welcome here. All right. If you want to be on someone's show, you want to talk to somebody, you want to learn more, you just want to grow or just hang around people that are positive and not full of crap. That's us, right? Positive and not full of crap. Look, Randy House and Dadgum Bobby's here. Now, if I don't prove I ain't right, right? Not full of crap. Yeah, that's toast too. All right. So reach out to me. Don't sit on the sidelines, man. Join the dadgum party. We're here. We'll find a place for
Oh
you.
gosh.
And by the way, I just got to give a shout out, and I can't say his last name because I'm old senile. Kofi.
Yes,
Kofi, I
yes.
just got to give him a shout out. The man finally called me today. He came out on the scene. What? He been on LinkedIn, what, 2 days? And he's already like more popular than us. Like,
Mm.
but he speaks truth. He's got a man, go check it. How do you say his name? Kofi.
Duhaji, Kofi Duhaji. I
There
love
you go.
coffee, man. Yes, he's actually going to be in Texas not too, probably next week, and so we're planning already to meet up. But man, shout out to you. You know who else? A shameless plug. Brian, Dr. Brian Sagray. Shout out to
Yes.
you. You just launched your business. Oh my God, brother! Like I wish you like all the success in the world. He's another person here off of San Antonio, and man, he's just amazing in what he's doing and what he does for the
Yeah.
community as well. And he's a big part of our hounds as well. So shout out to you, Dr. Sagray.
Yeah, man, I didn't even know he was launching that. I was surprised, pleasantly shocked and surprised that he was launching his business, coaching business. So great.
But
Now we
that
got
speaks to how fast everybody, once they join the community, they just, man, they just rock
dude,
it, right?
I'm serious. I don't even know what's happening. I hear, oh, so and so got an investment. I'm like, well, okay, good. I don't even know. Like people were just doing stuff. Like Nicole come in, broke a knee, got published in 4 weeks. I mean, Jesus, like it's a lightning out there. Um, but it's not me. All I do is put the environment together, man. What you all do, making things happen, um, unbelievable. So, if you feel stuck, you're down, join the club. The energy's negative, but we push each other up. We pull each other out of the sand pits, and we
Yep.
make things happen. Um, so hey, talk to us. Stephen Ing. He is a new Hounds official.
Mhm.
Man, so glad to
Yes,
see that.
yes. There's
Yeah,
so
dude, he
many
brings out my
ways.
Bob Barker. Did you hear that? I'm getting all game show host sounding and shit. Yeah.
No.
And Nicole is always coming out. Michelle Murray, I have seen her. She's so patient with me. Apparently, I don't know how to tell time when I schedule with Michelle, but she's so graceful anyway. She still talks to me. So good. Thank you, Michelle. Um, and Johanna, oh, Johanna, dude, the look on her face is priceless. We made this woman blush more than anybody. We turned her into a tomato, and she shows up. But when I saw y'all do the unboxing, like I just thought her little head was just gonna pop. I just thought it'd be hair and a paintbrush. Like it, dude, it's so much fun to do stuff like that, right? So I can even, so yeah, we're wrapping up. So yeah, and Sia hates it when I read the private chat. She's like, it's private for a reason, dumb dumb. And I'm over here like, yeah, that kind of sucks, but I can't stop it. I'm like, shut up. All
Well,
right,
the thing is, like, we can't hide it, right? It's like our face just tells the story, the entire
dude.
story. So it's all good, sweetie. It's all
Yeah, you
good.
can tell I look at the left, look down, and do like this. Yeah, something stupid happened. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm about to tell the audience. That's why they're like, "Oh, here comes." She is stupid going to read it. Yeah. So,
Oh my gosh.
um, go see Raquel Saturday. Check out some of the people. Check out all the folks in the chat, man. Most of them are hounds. Some of them are new. Uh, But hey, if you're here, you're showing up, you're a good person, you're hounds. Reach out, make a friend, hey, go to somebody right now's profile in this chat. All right, this is free, man. Because after those the branding experts, they gave all that free stuff. I'm gonna have to do it too. Go click on somebody's profile. All right. Go make several comments, several likes on several posts. Don't leave a message. Okay, because that's average and ordinary. I'm tired of seeing that. Go make them when they pull up their notifications and they see you. Guess what? They're going to want to know more about you. And hopefully your profile and content makes them like you and doesn't make them run away like they were talking about. But go try that right now. Go make connection, give value, make somebody smile. Next time you see somebody who posted 8 hours ago, had 1 like, make it 2. Matter of fact, bring your buddy in and tag them. You want to know how, you know my secret is? I care about everybody, not just special people. I'll be honest. All right. So everybody come in. You're welcome. We're a crazy bunch, but we get shit done and we take care of each other. So until then, I'll see you on the next one. Go ahead and roll that outro. Love you guys. Appreciate you. Thank y'all for stopping by. Be sure to follow, share, and like, and send me a message if you had fun today. Y'all come back now.